I am the Headless Headhunter, a corporate recruiter here to review your resumes to help get you ahead of your job search. So the first person we have up today is a back-end developer. They did say back-end developer, so I'm assuming that's what they want. I don't know if it's Python. I just saw the giant Python up at the top, so I thought probably Python. This person's ratio is horrible. It's 150 to 1. That is, it takes them over 150 applications to get a single job, which I assume they are a new fresh grad, but that is a very bad ratio. Ideally, the bare minimum you should have as a new grad in IT, software engineering, whatever, is about 1 in 75. That's the ratio, and that's kind of like a C minus. Ideally, it will be even lower than that. So over 150 is not good. Let's see what we can do to fix it. So this is not a good resume. All right. So what we're going to be looking for, if this is a Python backend, is Python, SQL, any of them, Docker, Kubernetes, Django, Cloud, any of the clouds, AWS, GCP, Azure, RESTful, API, Agile, and bonus points are for a full stack. But again, those are bonus points. You need the rest of it. So formatting wise, this is horrendous. This hurts my eyes. Please do not use this formatting. You want your formatting to look like this. This is peak formatting. It is boring, which is what you want. Us recruiters do not care if the resume looks pretty. We care that it tells us that you meet the minimum qualifications for the job in as fast as possible. And that means specifically that those skills are under the bullet points. Anything above here is kind of gravy, although you still need education at the top. And your contact information. But so this I don't care about. This does not help. This also does not help at all. I know people yell at me like, well, they had the keywords there. It's like, you can't just have the keywords. You need to show me how you use them and why you use them. That is why technical sections are not useful, with the exception of very high-level managers and directors, because they have a little bit of a different thing. But yeah, for everybody else, there's no technical skill sections. They don't work. Education section should be specifically one line in this case. Yeah, there's nothing I need. This can be one line. You also don't need to tell us when you started. All we really need to know is that you have graduated. For internships specifically, you sometimes do need to say that you are enrolled in school, but for the vast majority of jobs, you don't need to tell us when you started. We just need to know if you graduated or not. So that's basically it. So this should be a singular line, and please, again, black and white, Arial font. None of these crazy green flashy colors. They make it harder to read, which is worse. I have 15 seconds to look at this resume and find what I need. And again, technical skills sessions don't really count. They need to be in the bullet points. So these hold you back from that, because when you recruit, you typically recruit at volume, and when you recruit in volume, things get weird. All right, so the actual bullet points. I developed a full stack. Good that you said full stack lottery using MERN. MongoDB, ExpressJS, and React. This one should create and manage lotteries. This is using Newton, Python. Okay, so here's my problem. This resume is all bad. All right, this is a very, very bad resume. Does not reflect on your skills of how good you are as being a software engineer, to be clear, but the resume itself is bad. So here's what I need you to do. You need to delete this part. Right, we don't need this. Do this formatting. Then after education, which should be one line given your resume, then we go to work history. Nothing else should be bolded but the work history and the education inserts. Nothing under it, just the title itself. Then your very first for this project, the online lottery, I'm going to need you to tell me more. Although this is okay, it needs to be in bullet points, and I need 2 other bullet points. Ideally 3 bullet points minimum for each job or project or internship. The other thing is, I need you to pick if you are truly doing a back-end software engineer or if you are doing a full stack, because the difference between full stack and Python is actually different. Yes, I am aware that full stack is includes back end and front end, but these are the keywords specifically for a Python back end developer. These are the keywords specifically for a full stack developer. They are close, but they are different. And if you try a good resume that gets you a full stack position may not get you a back end Python position, and vice versa. So I'm going to need you to pick between this or this. This is Python. This is full stack, at least in the United States. Europe has actually a slightly different full stack. They've replaced the Python with Java and some other stuff that I'd have to look at again real quick. So, to summarize, this resume is bad. You need to delete all of it. You need to redo it based on this. You can salvage this sentence. I think this sentence is okay. I need more, but it's not a bad sentence because recruiters only have 15 seconds to look at your resume. This has been the case for decades. Well, a decade at least. I got my start about a decade ago. So it hasn't really changed. We have about 15 seconds. So if you all like this type of reviews, and again, I'm not trying to be mean, I just want to make sure that you can get a job, because it sucks. The job market is bad right now. It's really, really bad at the time of this video. So if anybody else needs help, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can send me your resume below or stop by my Twitch chat. That's where I get these keywords live at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST, and let's go to the next resume. And I stream for about 2 to 3 hours, give or take. So yeah, next resume. This is a resume that docs themselves, so that's why this format looks weird right here, is I don't want to show that information online. So please be careful of information when you send your resume. This is shown live, so this is the only thing I can really show. This is a EHR, which is an electronic health records trainer. To my knowledge, I found the right keywords, but take them with a grain of salt. I have never search for this directly. They also have a very big summary and skills section, which they can safely delete. There was no information there that I cared about. This is where I care the most about. So what we're going to be looking for, I believe so, is Epic credentialed trainer certification, either of those. EMR, learning styles, patient needs, education, Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and Teams. Although realistically, it's really more Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. These are just kind of extras. So it's also possible that you also need to show, like I said, your education. From what I could tell, it wasn't up top. You really want your education and certs up top, because it's possible if your resume is too long, the recruiter may miss it. And if a recruiter misses a qualification, which education can be, then it's bad. So, does this have it? Which is training lead, director, hands-on primary subject matter between owners. No. Spearheaded training holding concerns, MSH, Genesis. Electronic healthcare is good across the DoD. I don't know what DoD is. In fact, this is an issue, is that recruiters work multiple positions. It's possible the recruiter that is hiring for EHR trainer is also hiring for a software engineer, is also hiring for an accountant. You need to make sure that your acronyms are understandable by the layman. EHR would be okay to have because it's in the title of a lot of jobs, but DoD would probably be not. I don't know if MHS is important, but probably not. Actively conduct older support lives, develop dashboards and user ends. Also, the person have a 1 in 75, so it's not the worst resume, but it's not good. But I also saw that there weren't a lot of people that applied to these types of jobs. So realistically, you probably should have better than a 1 in 50. That is going to be my guess. So I don't really see anything here that I would need. And your resume's formatting is very off. So this is going to be a quick review just because, again, I don't want to dox you or anything like that. But it does not look like you have the right keywords. It does not look like your education was up at the top, which I can check again real quick. Which this is my break screen, which no, yeah, your education was not at the top. I'm searching for this. Again, their doxing is everywhere. That's why. Their certs are not what I'd be looking for either. But, I mean, it's Department of Defense certified instructor. So, yeah, we're going to have to move to the next resume. There's really nothing I can see here that would allow me to move forward. But I assume since you are getting like 1 in 75 interviews, I know nobody can see me right now, it's probably bit okay, but not great. So we need to fix the formatting. We need to fine tune the keywords. We need the education up top because they asked for it. Yes, it's important. And then we can move on to the next resume. This is a resume of a research coordinator. I use that in quotations because I think that is what they want. People need to be very specific with their job titles, or at least a couple of other job titles that are all the same skills. But there were a couple, like the research analyst, research manager, I didn't think were what they're looking for. So I tried to find as many research coordinator jobs as I can, and this is the keywords that I got. The degree was arguably one of the most important things. They almost all wanted a bachelor's or master's. Research, procedures, and methodology. You've done admin support with manuscripts or presentation, and that maybe you've done some recruitment of like studies or conducting interviews and medical records, that kind of thing. So those are the things that I found were most common. They want to make sure their resume is good and they've been but let's see, quite frankly, if it is. They did not tell us the ratio, so they said they've gotten some rejections, some not. And the thing is, we don't know what the ratio is. Like if they got 1 in 10, that's phenomenal. If they got 150, that's bad. So the first thing is they also dox themselves, so I cannot scroll above this. I can only scroll down. But the biggest issue here is I don't see your education. People fight with me in the comments about, well, come on, I have thick skin, I can take it. But this is a education-based role. This is a role that almost every single one required a master's or a bachelor's that I saw. Your education is a qualification, and every qualification needs to be in the first half of the first page, which is about what I show right here, not counting the contact information, because obviously contact information is the most important part. But yeah, I don't see your education here. I see it all the way at the bottom, but it's possible a recruiter will not scroll that far. I know that's ridiculous sounding, but it's true. You need your education up at the top. Also, your specifically formatting is not the greatest. It's not the worst. I want to be clear. This is not the worst formatting ever. This is not like gets an F for formatting. This is the formatting I want people to use. This is like an A+ formatting. This is like a C+ formatting. Can definitely be worse, but it can be a whole lot better. So again, you need your education up top. You don't need this line in between them. And then these should be a singular line that is italicized and not bolded. And everything here should be 10.5 Arial. So, do you have the rest of these without the degree? Which again, you don't want them to miss the degree. So, collaborates with senior leadership to align project goals with organizational objectives, enhancing clinic operations by 15% in throughput. That means nothing to me. Acts as a liaison across departments and shareholders, a communication coordinating project delivery. Maybe. Design staffing schedules for multidisciplinary clinics and sites, optimizing clinician productivity and patient care efficiency. This is nice, but is this really a research coordinator? These are very different from what I saw. It's possible that your company's internal title does not match what everybody else calls it, which can happen. So this might be a case of you want to look for a different job title because research coordinator is not actually what you're qualified for. Maybe you are, you just don't show it in your resume. But I don't see the admin support with manuscripts. I do see that you collaborated with leadership, which is okay. I don't see research procedures and methodologies. I don't see I did see recruitment, but I think this is specifically for studies. For project proposals, yeah, this is not as what I'd be looking for. Primarily interdisciplinary, translate technical needs. Yeah, I don't. Also, manage timelines and deliverables across multiple projects simultaneously. Good. Meeting 98% deadlines without compromise in quality. Don't put 98%. Don't show that you didn't meet deadlines. That's not a good metric. That makes you look worse, not better. You don't want to say 98% deadlines. Just say while meeting deadlines. That's so here it is. Research assistant, development data collection procedures, surveys, interviews, and face-to-face assessments. See, I don't care about the 30%. I care about this stuff. So either I'm looking at the wrong job titles, which is possible. Your company's research coordinator duties are not what the market calls those duties, or this is not a good resume. Since I don't know your ratio, I don't know which, but I would like you to look at a bunch of jobs that you're applying for and look at the qualifications, look at the must-haves, not the nice-to-haves, not the what you will be doing, but the qualification, minimum requirements, must-haves. Those are going to be where your keywords are. So focus on those. And people need to be very careful about these percentages. You can have these numbers in your resume, but typically you want to be very conservative with them because a 15% increase in throughput means nothing. They need to be understandable to the layperson. Like you could say, which led to a large increase in Google reviews mentioning me by name or kudos given by upper management and stakeholders, but a 15% in throughput doesn't really mean anything. So does this resume fail? The answer is I don't have enough information to make that call. Again, there's some minor formatting issues, but this is a bigger issue is specifically the bullet points. And a lot of these percentages increase are not what I found. So maybe research coordinator is not what you're actually looking for. Maybe it's something else. But you're going to have to be very specific and look at those keywords because a generalized resume does not work. Let's go to the next resume. This is a Python software engineer or Python backend engineer. Specifically in the UK. So the keywords from the US and the UK, while like 80% similar, there's enough differences that I have a little section for the UK now. So this is specifically the European Union, which I guess the UK is not part of. I don't know. I'm American. I sometimes barely know what's happening in my own state. So yeah, this is in the EU, which I should say, not the, there we go, EU. What we're looking for backend Python is Python, SQL, any of them, doesn't matter. Docker, Kubernetes, Django, and Flask. I would say these are the most important parts. You definitely need this stuff. Cloud, so any cloud, although it's better if you have AWS, and then maybe you want to list one of the other things like E2C or whatever, Redshift or whatever they say, but it's very important that you have cloud. RESTful and fast APIs, those are both huge. Agile, I didn't actually see a lot. I need to delete that. That was more for the American market. Git and CI/CD are nice, along with object-oriented programming and multi-threading is nice. But again, these are sort of bonus points, which I'm going to put back down here. But bonus points, which are great, is full stack, DevOps, MLOps, and then we can go back to that. So this is what we're going to be looking for is primarily this and cloud and this. Let's see if they have it. This person, they have, I don't know their ratio, so I don't know enough about their ratio, but they have been building applications and been getting paid for it a little bit, but they are currently in school and they would like to work in a real job environment. They've applied to internships, part-time jobs, and applications, but most of them got instantly rejected. So the very first thing I'm going to let you know is the resume that gets you an internship is probably not going to be the resume that gets you a full-time job. There are different things that we are going to be looking for in a resume for an internship and a full-time position. I am reviewing this based on full-time position. As internships, we are less critical of the individual knowledge. We want to see that you've got a basis of it, but not a credible amount. And then we also want to know that you can take criticism and work well together, while those are sort of assumed as a full-time position. So formatting-wise, this is not great. Again, I don't like this formatting. It's not the worst, though. I don't want people like, it's garbage. I can still read what it is, but it's hard to read, which is not good, because remember, we have 15 seconds to view your resume. I give resumes here like literally 30 to 40 times more than I could physically do at a if I was reviewing these for real, for an open position. So this is okay. This is not needed. I don't think this is needed. Again, a skills sections is not needed, especially for somebody that's just graduating or still in school. But your education should be there. It should be just this line and then not bolded. Although I will say that depending on your GPA equivalent, you may want to put that. If it's not great, then don't put that. But this is where you kind of want to show your GPA at least. But this, you know what? The more I'm looking at it, this one is okay to have, but this would probably be better as a project rather than an individual thing under education, because this would really be good for people that are like in the drone robotics society, but is not really needed for anybody else. So Back-end remote, part-time, that's fine at X company. This should not be bolded and should be one line. Engineer to maintain a scalable back-end system by integrating applications with self-server. This is a mid-sentence. It's not bad, but it doesn't really tell me anything. Optimized API endpoints, caching, and using Python, Django, and DRF. So it's good that you have API, but the problem is I never saw API alone. It was either RESTful API or Fast API. So you need to add which one it is. Is there a different? I don't know. I'm a recruiter, but I know what the manager wants, and the manager's going to be upset if I don't include it. So we need to know if that was RESTful or Fast. And then I don't think DRF is needed, but Python and Django are. Design solutions for large processing and violent data storage using AWS S3. Good. This is what I'd like. And custom Excel aggregators. As much as I harp on Excel, largely don't need Excel for software engineers. That's one of the few white collar industries where it doesn't really matter if you put Excel or not on there. So we don't need that. And then collectively contributed to, I don't care as much about this. So again, percentages are not, the problem is I don't know what this is, right? I don't know enough about this to see how much it improves sales. 9% could be 9 billion users, or it could be 9 users if you only had 100 previously in sales. So this is not good because you're not really showing anything that I need. I need SQL. I need Kubernetes if possible. I need Flask. I did see, like I said, Docker and Python and Django, no, I did see Django and Python. I need Docker. Docker is important. And I need to know if it's fast or RESTful API. Those are the things I'm going to be looking for. The cloud one is good. I really do like this. But again, ideally you want more than one keyword in each sentence. So built the backend for a recipe emphasizing API. What kind of API? I don't know. Is it important? The recruiter's going to think so. Successfully delivered holding API. I think, yeah. So the biggest issue here is, again, this skill sections don't count. I need to know what the keyword is, which you have here, but how and why you use them, which need to be here or here, and I do not see that. So realistically, what you have is in this entire thing, I know that you've used cloud, which is good, Python, and which was the other one, and Django. And you don't need all of these, but you should have like 80%, 75% of those, and 3 is not enough. So this is primarily missing keywords, and the market's really tough. As far as I'm aware, even in the EU, the market is still very rough, like the US. So you also need to apply early, because the faster you apply, the better your chances. So overall, this resume is not great. I don't think it would pass. I don't think it's going to take a lot of work to actually make it good, but right now it does not pass. So this person is in my Twitch chat, so I'm going to be helping them tweak these sentences to make them make sense afterwards, and then maybe they could resubmit or not. But I will, for this video, you all see me go to the next video. This is a resume review of an ERP systems business analyst. So this person is in Australia, and I tried specifically looking for Australian ERP system business analysts, and I really did not find a lot, so I'm hoping you're able to find more jobs. So take these keywords with a grain of salt, because I realized I reviewed your resume before, and this was before I started sort of going across the world. I didn't really realize that Australia had different keywords than a business analyst in the United States, but it does seem like they have slightly different keywords. So taking this with a grain of salt, which means this is my best guess. This is not as confident as I usually am. We are going to be looking for BPMN, UML, Agile Scrum, PMP, ERP, specifically Fusion Cloud ERP or anything else, CBAP, PMI, and PBA, Jira, and SQL, and a bonus of Salesforce, Visio, PowerPoint, and Standard BA. So, assuming those are the correct keywords, which again, this is something that I would probably have to search with you directly if you came on my Twitch chat, which Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST, twitch.tv/headlesshunter. But yeah, so these are what I could find. I hope they are accurate. Formatting-wise, this is good. You said you just recently updated, so this is the updated version. Up till now, you've received a couple of first in round, but your process becomes incredibly slow. At that stage, you get rejected. That is sort of normal. I don't know Australia's job market at all, but from what I have heard, again, this is a lot of conjecture from me in this video, but it's the best I can do, is the job market in Australia is not good either. And the worse the job market, the slower the interview process gets, the less feedback you get, the more convoluted, the more interviews that start appearing. So let's see what this is. And again, I may have to give you a freebie just so I can get the right keywords, because those are really important. So consulting application for over 25 businesses globally. That's good. Built SQL database to manage website analyticals. Use Agile. That's good. This needs to be one sentence, but I do like the sentence. Deliver training workshops, stakeholders. That's good. Yeah. Develop the Power BI capabilities within the strategy directorate, met regulatory reporting, legal analysis, coordinated with C-Search and technology implement company. Again, this should be one sentence. Streamlining operations. So this seems okay. Again, my gut is telling me you don't necessarily have the keywords, like specifically ERP. ERP is one. Did I miss it? No. So if you are looking specifically for ERP/systems business analyst, which I wasn't able to find that many systems, the ERP, we would need ERP. So I'm guessing the formatting is good, but you don't have enough keywords. And I'm going to guess, because again, I don't know if these keywords are correct, that you are sort of trying to brag a little bit, which we want to show that you've succeeded, but we don't want brags. And I know that sounds weird, but like this resulting in an on-time and on-project delivery is a good one. Let's see. But streamlining operational performance toward organizational targets is too long. So, like this one, you coordinated with C-suites, executive technical teams, implement a company-wide performance management system. That one's fine. So yeah, it's a little wordy. I think you're not having enough keywords, but again, come on the chat and then let me know, like, hey Lee, I was Australian business analyst. What the heck were the keywords? Because again, the keywords are the most important part. And I don't want to give you the wrong keywords, which I realized I might have in the previous one because I did not realize the differences between the Australian and the United States market. I am a US based recruiter and I do not know global markets as well. I just don't have that much. I wish I had that knowledge. So hopefully this was at least a little bit helpful to you. I really hope it was, Mr. Man. And please, everybody, like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of this. And I will see you all on the next video.